Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more comics. Today, new comic book day, and this time we're talking about Excalibur number 2. This is one of my favorite ones of Donna X. I know some people aren't having any of Tinny Howard, but I am still rolling through it. I like this book. I like the original Excalibur, even though I like it more now than I did when I'm younger. When I was younger, because I just don't think I could handle it. I just wanted X-Men, I didn't understand the whole magic thing. I didn't really get into anything like that until later. Now I appreciate more of what they were doing back then. And we're heavy into that lore. We're diving even further into that lore. And I think that despite what you think about Tinny Howard, outside of this book is pretty good. If you like magic stuff. I mean, this might not be for you, but see, like I've said before, I go where Gambit goes. Okay? And Gambit goes where Rogue goes, and But again, solid book. Solid book. A lot more stuff. We are really moving the story along and getting more and more, like Apocalypse, like I said on the Adamantium Hour on Thinking Critical. Apocalypse to me is one of the most interesting characters in this, because we are getting so much more information about what he's been up to throughout the years. And in this, it's no different. Where we go back to the 4th century BCE at the English Channel, where they talk about how Apocalypse was the first mutant, but it's a misconception that he was their common ancestor. In time, mutants just appeared all over. Other people just mutated. He wasn't just making them. But it has this great story about how these two left, and their power basically was kind of like they were born twins, and when the two were together, they could never lose their way. So I guess their power was that they could never get lost. But that doesn't mean if your ship's not good, you won't drown, and they do. These people that come back later on in the story, he does nothing to stop them, because that's not what Apocalypse does. He doesn't save you. You have to prove your worth. You have to prove your superiority. But he says at the very beginning of this that I should at least honor their deaths, or at the very least remember its location. So we jump into the middle of the story where Kate Pryde is giving the rest of Excalibur a ride to where Excalibur used to have their lighthouse before it was destroyed. And so they're making a trip there with Rogue to, reestablish, to make a Krakoan gate there, and to kind of get reintegrated with Captain, new Betsy's new powers as Captain Britain. And just reestablish the world of Excalibur and connections to Otherworld. And Kate here is definitely on point for books. So if we like continuity, if we like the way the characters are done and are the same in all the books, they're doing a pretty good job here, because Kate's just again kind of being really not reckless in this, but just really more I don't want to say fun-loving, but she's just more she's asking about a hot tub. I always wanted a hot tub at the place where Excalibur used to be based. Next time I come back, can there be one now? So I guess she was a teacher before, and now she's kind of free, and she's cutting loose, I guess is a term that I'm looking for. But Gambit's having none of this. Gambit's a little irritated because everybody else seems to be just, kind of joking around and having a good time, while Rogue is basically in a coma. By the way, this episode, I do too many things. This issue's called A Tower of Flowers, verse 2, A Tower of Flowers. And, I get it, man. Gambit's waited his whole life. Well, ever since he joined the X-Men, right? Ever since he met Rogue, he's been waiting for this moment. They're man and wife. And it's been a long journey, and and now that this has happened to her, he's afraid. He's afraid of what's going to happen, and he's being a good husband, in my opinion. And it's not just a bias because I love Gambit, but they're the two characters I've been shipping for frickin' years, and now that it's here, I agree. He should be concerned, because this is all crazy. They kind of got caught up in all this. But then we get these Silkies. They start attacking the ship, and while they think it might be because of Morgan Le Fay, it just doesn't seem like it. It seems like there's balance that's messed up here, and it could have to do with what happened when the lighthouse was destroyed. Maybe the things are really messed up, and these Silkies are just kind of attacking. Um, but just as Gambit's kind of getting tired of it, yeah, that's when they show up. I'm also liking Jubilee in this a lot too. Even though she says she doesn't want her baby around Apocalypse or Gambit. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe not Apocalypse, but really? Gambit? Man, you two used to be bros, and, I thought they used to be kind of buds back in the day. I mean, if don't... I remember they were on the same basketball team way back in, I think it was, X-Men number 3 or 2 or 3. But they realize that the ship's going to capsize if these Silkies keep pulling on it. So Betsy, lifts Rogue up out of the ship. It gets the higher ground, and they all kind of make their way up off the shore, up out of the shore, and up the cliff sides. Um, and one of the things that they were talking about is who to blame for this. And she's like, Betsy thinks it's possible, but it doesn't seem like her. They're not very well, the Silkies, if they really wanted to hurt them, they can't come on land. So, what's the point of this? So, to me, it's just, it does seem like magic's just out of whack. And then they meet we see these druids that only Betsy can see, and I think it all has to do with the connection to the world. And these people look like the people that Apocalypse kind of abandoned earlier. Well, we find out now they get in the know here about the girl that's been, that killed her friends to get the magic that Morgan Le Fay is holding over her head. And her name's Mariana Stern, and she's getting her power from Morgan, but her power her powers wane because she's, Morgan's asking more of them, and so. They say that we believe you're a protector, and that we will let the earth here bear the fruit of Krakoa. So what happens is really cool. I think it's really cool because all of a sudden, Rogue's kind of flower bed starts moving around, goes to the center here. See if you can see a little bit better. And I better move this around before the screen goes black, like it always does when I don't move it. And so all of a sudden, this crystal comes out of the ground, with Rogue at the top of it, making a new lighthouse with Rogue as the light. Now this then would be the where Apocalypse here talks about this, and we see this diagram of the lighthouse. And a lot of this was a little hard for me to understand at first, but basically, the people that died, the way to honor them, well, he said that they became. In less than 2 millennia, the carbon has reformed into large crystal structures containing the power of the ages within. So where they died, and then Krakoa meets that area, it turns into a new lighthouse. Now, does that mean, how long does that mean that Rogue's going to be out of commission? Because we keep seeing her on the covers, we need to find an answer pretty soon. But it is pretty interesting that all ties in together, and that, Apocalypse, his ties to the lands around Excalibur, I mean, he's everywhere. His touch, his influence seems to just be everywhere. I mean, I guess when you lived as long as he has and explored everywhere, there's probably going to be things all over the place that have to do with what, Apocalypse's plans, as probably had plans for just about every area of the world. But they all are talking about, we're settling down for the night, and Gambit's still being really salty about things. Betsy, he even kind of takes a jab at Betsy about, Brian not being even in this realm for her to worry about. And then we get the dreams, where Jubilee sees that Apocalypse has got her kid, and that, you left him with someone on the island for me to find. And that nothing is secret to me, especially not humans lurking in my garden of mutant paradise. So, I know these are dreams, right? But she wakes up, but like there's something to what's going on, and it's the magic, I think, in messing with their heads. And then we get Betsy, who starts following around this like fire wolf and to a statue of Apocalypse. And you know, this wolf says, "You can trust me, Betsy. I'm a good girl." Also, like, so she wakes up to Shogo munching on her hair, and they go to find Gambit because if they're all having weird dreams, maybe he's having them too. But he's already awake, and the druids are there, and the druids are there like are these followers of Apocalypse are there, the ones that he kind of left aside. That they're not really they're there, but they're not there. Only Betsy can see them. And at this point, then the coven shows up. This coven of Akaba, the ones that we saw at the end of the first issue that had been started by this Stern girl. And so they come to attack them, and Apocalypse kind of beeps in like an incoming call, like, "Hey man, you need my help here?" And she's very adamant about him not getting involved. But are these your people? And he's like, he tells her, just, I love how Apocalypse is just so matter of fact, like, "They were once my human servants, powerful magi, true, but they came to believe in a foolish lie, that their magic made them on par with the superior, and I would spare them at the end of their days." So he was, he had these humans, that were his slaves, and they thought, like, kind of like a vampire, like a familiar, would, it's expect to be turned into a vampire, and they're like, and Apocalypse had no kind of, like, intentions of, like, doing anything for these people other than because they're below them, but he was perfectly willing to let them go along and help him, and I just kind of love that. And he even calls it a heresy, and they're like, you rejected them after they did all this for you, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm Apocalypse. What do you expect?" But they say the gate is the spark of a cleansing flame, and now you, whom they call witchbreed, bear their flag on your chest, as it says, it's as if to say, as if to say, Britain belongs to Homo Superior, and it is a fine thing. I love Apocalypse in this. I know he's a bad guy, but I'm just digging this, man. There's nothing like a good villain just doing some, like this whole cooperation thing is just making me so happy. But he then also says, well, he's like, "Allow me to handle this. They destroyed this lighthouse to strike at you. It is only a matter of time before they destroy your brother too. So you have to go to Otherworld and claim him." And she's like, "Well, who's going to defend this place?" And he's like, "Yeah, me. I'll show up and I'll do it." And so he comes up there, takes care of business. Just because, I mean, come on. And so now he's going to stay there and protect the area and make sure that it doesn't fall in enemy's hands. And he's going to be there with Rogue, and he's like, with me and her, pretty much this place is not going to, this place is fine. But Gambit, of course, is going to have a problem with this. But Betsy convinces him that, if anything happens, man, like, this is on me. But I need you to come with me. Like, we have to go do this. We have to get my brother back. So they travel over to Otherworld, and Jubilee wants to send Shogo back, but all of a sudden it's too late. They're through, and the baby's gone. Except the baby's not gone, because the baby is now a dragon. I just love this, man. This is so dope, because it's not like any other book that's going on right now. And the art, I love the art in this, and in fact, I love the art way more in this issue than I did it in the last one. And it's way more consistent and just a lot of fun to look at. I like everybody's designs. And you know what that's different in this is there does appear to be, like, I do feel the movement in this. I do feel like you show, like, especially when you see things where Rogue's, lighthouse comes. Like, you do feel what's happening in it. Like, the actual action of the scene. And so Shogo's a dragon, even though she's like, "My baby? Where's my baby?" Well, you know where it is. It's right in front of you, Jubilee. And then we have this druid lullaby at the end, which, I'll put up here if you guys want to freeze frame it and read it yourself at some point. Hopefully you guys can read it. I don't understand it. Maybe it's because I was up till 12 o'clock doing a live stream and then worked about 9.5 hours today and then came home and I'm trying to read comics. And I'm losing my voice. But I love it. This book continues to be good. I am so happy. I'm really, really happy. Next week, we've got Fallen Angels, New Mutants, and X-Force coming out to be talking about for Xbox next week. So it's really, really cool. So anyway, great book. Still consistent. Still one of my favorite books. I love the progression of the story. I love that we're still embracing all the parts of Otherworld and Excalibur and what we're trying to rebuild here in Great Britain with the new lighthouses and how this all plays into part of it and what, how much more does Apocalypse know? I also love, okay, in her dream, in Betsy's dream, the plate says he's using you, you can use him too. So that's definitely some foreshadowing as to like what, like if Apocalypse is going to be, don't just let Apocalypse, use you. Find ways to use him too. I keep saying that, and I am tired. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching this review. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button if you feel like it. If you're not a subscriber, please join the fun at Smirking Gun Reviews now that we passed 1,000 subscribers. If you feel like subscribing. Like I said, I'm terrible at self-promotion because I always forget to say you can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. Otherwise, this is Rob saying, yeah, share, bell, But we'll see you on another video. We got Immortal Hulk and Something is Killing the Children and Absolute Carnage #5 still coming up. So have a great night, and we'll see you on the next video.